Hello, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be talking about advice. So first, I wanted to answer this question. Who do you talk to when you're angry? Think about this before class, okay? Now, if you remember, yesterday we heard a conversation between Susie and her boyfriend. What do you think happened after Susie hung up the phone? Please pause the video and write down some ideas. Okay, we're going to share these during class, so let's continue. Now, Susie is talking to her sister about Brian. What do you think will happen? These are some of the expressions that she is using to describe the situation to her sister, okay? Read them, please. And if you were Susie's sister, what advice would you give her? Please pause the video and write down some notes. Okay, great job. We're going to share these ideas during class, so let's continue. Now, let's go to student book page 13. Working this exercise. Here, what you have to do is decide which adverbials are doing what. For example, which adverbials are describing how something is done. Here you're actually going to need three adverbials. For the rest of them, you will only need to find one. The adverbials you need to use are never, by himself, tomorrow, on the couch, dramatically, like an overgrown teenager, and frankly. Pause the video while you work on this, please. Okay, now let's go ahead and check. So the adverbials that are describing how something is done are by himself, dramatically, and like an overgrown teenager. If you see, they are describing how an action was done. Now, which one is describing how something is done? How often? Sorry? Never. Which one describes when something will happen? Tomorrow. Very good. Which one describes where something is done? On the couch. And which one adds emphasis? Frankly. Honestly. Okay, very good. So if you notice, the adverbs have different positions in the sentences, right? And we have adverbs that show us the place, the time, how an action is done, etc. Today we're looking at them, okay? Now it's important that you know that the adverbials can be adverbs, like never or grammatically that we're used to, but they can also be phrases, like tomorrow, by himself, on the couch. Okay? Let's continue. Now I want you to please read this sentence. Do they mean the same? Let's see. Susie used to discuss her problems with her twin sister. When she was younger, Susie used to discuss her problems with her twin sister. Only Susie used to discuss her problems with her twin sister. From time to time, Susie used to discuss her problems with her twin sister. Well, if you notice, they actually have different meanings, right? For example, the second sentence, when she was younger, is telling us that in the past they did, but now she doesn't talk to her sister about her problems. The third sentence tells us that only Susie did it. The sister didn't. Just Susie talked about her problems. And the last sentence says that sometimes yes, but not all the time Susie discusses problems. So the adverbs can affect the meaning of the sentence. And let's take a look at this now. Look at these three sentences that have the adverbial only. Read them. Do they mean the same? And if not, what is the difference? Please pause the video while you think about this. Okay, guys, so if you noticed, these sentences do not mean the same. Now, let's take a look at them, what they mean. Here I have the three options, okay? We need to match. One of the sentences says that they only discussed Susie's problems. They didn't do another activity. B, that says that Susie didn't talk about her problems with other people, only with the sister. And the last option says that Susie discussed her problems, but the sister didn't. Now pause the video while you match, okay? Great, now let's go ahead and check. The first one, only Susie used to discuss her problems with her twin sister. We would use letter C. Susie discussed her problems, but her sister didn't. Very good. Next one. Susie only used to discuss her problems with her twin sister. They only discussed Susie's problems. They didn't do any other activity. And the last one. Susie used to discuss her problems with her twin sister only. That would be with letter B. Susie didn't talk about her problems with other people, just with the sister. So if you notice, the position of the adverb only is affecting the meaning as well. Sometimes the position of the adverbs will affect it and sometimes it will not. Okay? You will have to try to see if the position affects the meaning or not. Now let's go ahead and go back to your student book, page 13. Look at these sentences and rewrite the sentence as many times as you can with the adverbials we have over here. When she was younger, always, in secret, from time to time, and probably. You will not do only because I already showed you those ones. You can try to put the adverb in number 1, position number 2, 3, or 4. Now, please notice that it is not possible to put all the adverbs in every position. Okay? For example, when she was younger, the first option could be when she was younger, Susie used to discuss her problems with her twin sister. However, there is another option. Please pause the video while you write down your ideas. Okay, now that you finished, I want you to please compare all of the options that you got. Did the meaning change? Maybe yes, maybe no. If it didn't change, great. If it changed, think about how is it the meaning different? Remember the sentences with only. In those ones, it did change, but sometimes it doesn't. So think about this. Pause the video, please. Okay, awesome. Now that you finished this, we're going to be discussing all of this in class. We're going to share all of our sentences. Now, let's continue working in page 13. This time, exercise 4. Look at the pairs of sentences. The underlined adverbials are in different positions. And if you see, these are going to change the meaning of the sentences. For example, number 1 says, actually, he's performing in the play tomorrow and not doing anything else. That's the only thing he will do. In the option 2, he's actually performing in the play tomorrow and not just sitting in the audience. He will be in the play. Now, what about letter A? We have again options 1 and 2. Option 1, honestly, I can't speak to her anymore. 2, I can speak to her honestly anymore. What is the difference? Well, if you notice in number 1, I'm saying that I cannot talk to her at all. Why? Maybe we had a big discussion and we're not talking. And in 2, I say that I cannot talk to her in an honest way. Yes, we talk, but I cannot be honest with this person. So if you see, there is a difference. Now go ahead and do letter B and letter C. Pause the video, please. Okay, guys, now we're going to share this during our class. Now go to your workbook, please, page number 4. Here, what we have to do is to um, add the adverbials that we have in parentheses at the end of the sentences into the possible positions that they can have. Okay, I already have D there for you. So if the position of the adverbial, like it has different options, then I wrote it in parentheses. For example, it says, the other day I overheard the most incredible conversation in the bus. Another option could be, I overheard the most incredible conversation the other day on the bus. And the last one, I overheard the most incredible conversation on the bus the other day. So the 3 options are valid, but what we're going to do is to continue with the rest. Now, please notice that letter C and letter E can only have one position for the adverb. Please pause the video while you work on this. Okay, great. Now let's go ahead and check. So B. Recently, I had a really interesting conversation with a complete stranger. I recently had a really interesting conversation with a complete stranger. Or, I had a really interesting conversation with a complete stranger recently. Okay, next one. I hate people who talk endlessly about themselves all the time. D, we already know it. Letter E would be I talk to my grandmother on the phone at least once a month. And the last one, letter F, we had two options here. Last night, I tried to call my boyfriend, but he didn't answer the phone. Option 2, I tried to call my boyfriend last night, but he didn't answer the phone. Okay, guys, great job. Now let's continue, but this time working exercise 3. Here we're going to rewrite the sentences, but this time we have to change the position of the adverb so that the meaning changes. Let's look at the example. I had really wanted my parents to meet my boyfriend earlier on the year. Earlier in the day, I had really wanted my parents to meet my boyfriend. Now I regret this because they didn't get along, right? 2. Frankly, she just didn't answer the question. Like, she just didn't answer the question at all. I didn't get an answer. Another option could be she just didn't answer the question frankly. She answered the question, but she was not honest. So again, we changed the meaning. Pause the video while they work on the rest, please. Okay? Awesome, guys. Now we're going to check this homework during our class, okay? I will see you then. Bye bye!